What's up, guys? Welcome to GWhisky. My name is Jeff. Now, this is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and if you stick around to the end, I'll be giving it a score as well. If that sounds interesting, hit subscribe down below. And with that out of the way, why don't we jump into our review? Today, we're looking at Kilchoman Loch Gorm 2020. Stick around. So we're heading over to Islay today. We've got a Kilchoman with us. Kilchoman is kind of Islay's new kid on the block. They only started distilling in about 2005, started putting stuff out a few years after that, and pretty much right off the bat, they started developing a pretty strong fan base. Now, of course, this is a peated whiskey. Peated whiskeys do work at a younger age. Some of those early Kilchomans from like 2009 or so, those seasonal releases, as well as some of their single cask releases from pretty early on were really, really good. But it wasn't until about 2013 that we saw our first version of the Loch Gorm. Now, this is a sherried expression. They come out with it every year in limited quantities. Now, of course, as it goes with younger distilleries, as their stock ages, we do start to see their whiskeys evolve. And the Loch Gorm that we got last year in 2020, quite different from those original Loch Gorms we got way back in 2013. I'll give you some details on this one. So our 2020 release, it's matured in 20 different Oloroso sherry barrels. Those barrels all come from Bodega Jose Miguel Martin. Our bottle output here was 15,500 bottles, and all of the whiskey in here is aged either 9, 11, 12, or 13 years. Now, it does seem like people prefer these newer batches. Personally speaking, I hadn't had a Loch Gorm in years. I did have that first release that came out in 2013. I think I had it again maybe around 2015 or so, but not since then. And so yeah, when I started seeing some of those reviews saying the whiskey's gotten much better over the years, it did get me kind of curious. So I figured, what the hell, let's come back to Loch Gorm. I went out and I looked for the latest version that I could find. Now, at the time, that was the 2020 version. About a week after I bought this bottle, Kilchoman came out with their 2021 version of the Loch Gorm, so good timing. But yeah, why don't we jump into a review of this one, see what it's all about, and in the meantime, if you can kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. So we've got some pretty good specs here, which is expected of Kilchoman. Our ABV here comes in at 46%. This is going to be non-chill filtered, and our color is natural, which is always good to see. So I'll show you our beautiful natural color. We've had some pretty busy sherry casks here. I do like the look of this bottle. I think it's a great look. I like the colors. I like the black with the gold accents. I think it's one of the better looking Kilchomans out there. Presentation score for this one's going to be 5 out of 5. Not only that, I do like the squat bottles. They're less likely to tip over. And finally, we do have good info. We've got non-chill filtered and natural color front and center on the label. We also have the number of bottles released. We've got some tasting notes on the back. On our bottom rim down here, we also have the bottling date. So this one was bottled on June 16th of 2020. Also, we get plenty of info on our little tag here. So from 20 different Oloroso sherry butts, it'll give us the years that the whiskey in here was distilled. So 2007, 2008, 2009, and 2011. So not only is it a good look, but it's got loads of information. I couldn't ask for a better bottle. Let's try the nose. Creamy, very rounded. Yeah, this is a much more civilized Kilchoman than I'm used to. Peat, ash, some gentle brine in here, some honey, some cereal maybe. We're definitely getting those sherry notes coming through. We've got berries, plums, raisins, cinnamon. Also on some dried tobacco. Definitely some caramelized nuts in here. Some milk chocolate, some cardamom, and just a small touch of maybe savory meatiness to this. Overall, pretty good complexity here. Very inviting nose. Check the palate. Nice. Very good arrival here. It's creamy, silky, oily, thick, rich. Very nice. We have a really nice peaty note. It's gentle. It's powerful, but it's gentle. Kind of like an ashy, maybe bonfire note here. It's quite fruity. We're getting grapes. We're getting plums. Maybe a touch of cherry syrup in here. Some candied notes as well. So like nougat, caramelized nuts. If you're from North America, you might know the chocolate turtles. So that's like pecans. It's caramel. It's milk chocolate. I'm getting that in here. What else? Some cardamom. Maybe some exotic spices. Really interesting stuff. Let's try our finish. So that creamy, oily silkiness stays with you. We're getting nuts, we're getting smoke, faint petrol in here, tart berry syrup, vanilla beans, plums, mesquite wood, and some soft caramel. Medium in length, but staying very full and sweet throughout. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I've been looking forward to this review. If you couldn't tell from the tasting notes, I am a big fan of this whiskey. I tend to agree with a lot of those reviewers out there who are saying that the modern versions of Loch Gorm are better than those older ones. Now, those older ones were nice, but they were a little bit more rough around the edges. What we're getting here is more refined. I think this is a beautiful marriage of peat and sherry, and I do think it's one of your better options within that category. Now, flavor-wise, this isn't going to surprise you. It's peat and it's sherry. I'm sure you've had that combination a million times before. I certainly have, and my first reaction to this was just like, okay, this is nice, but it's not very groundbreaking. It's not doing anything new. But the more time I spend with this whiskey, the more I find little corners and little details of it that I really enjoy. Now, first and foremost, what stands out the most in my mind when I think about this whiskey is that mouthfeel, that texture. It's silky, it's soft, it's oily, really, really beautiful. It stays with you from start to finish. I think it's one of the best mouthfeels within like this genre of whiskey. It really is gorgeous. Not only that, just so creamy, syrupy, like vanilla beans dipped in cherry syrup. Gorgeous flavors in here. Now, I actually had the Loch Gorm the other day in a session next to another Kilchoman. It was a single cask PX. And if, by the way, if you've never had a Kilchoman single cask, they are worth seeking out. Big, powerful, beautiful whiskeys. But yeah, that session, interesting because I did like the single cask, but in contrast, I really started to appreciate just how calm and rounded the Loch Gorm is. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this isn't quite as young as some of those older bottlings, and it's starting to show its age. Now, of course, 9 to 13 years isn't old whiskey, but plenty of age for peat. So yeah, you got 46%, you have some older stock in here, and a nice creamy layer of sherry on top of it, so really helps to iron out any rough edges. This is one of the roundest, most calm Kilchomans I've ever had. Now, that's not to say this whiskey is some kind of shrinking violet. It absolutely isn't. It's brimming with flavor, but a lot of those flavors are under this kind of like glossy sheen. It's that thick, oily, silky mouthfeel. It helps make a lot of those bigger, bolder flavors a little bit more slick, a little bit more easy. So this is one of the least rugged Kilchomans I've ever had, but it works for the whiskey. Now, if you prefer those bigger, punchier, ashier Kilchomans, I don't blame you. I absolutely love those ones too, but this one is going to be a little bit different. It's rounder, it's smoother, and you know, by smooth I don't mean boring. I mean like a greaser with slick back hair, cigarette hanging out of his mouth, leaning on a motorcycle. It's cool. It's, yeah. God, what am I talking about? All right, I'm losing the plot. Tell you what, my score here is going to be 91. I absolutely love this stuff. I think it's one of the best peat and sherry combos out there that isn't insanely expensive. You have had these flavors before, but spend some time with it. It's one of those ones that it is worth the extra time to get to know. Now, I love the Kilchoman house style, and you guys know me, I definitely love my sherry, so this is going to be a whiskey that I personally really vibe with, but I will admit that it's not really doing anything super new or very exciting. This is one to try if you already know you like that peat and sherry combo, or if you're already a fan of Kilchoman, or if you're just a fan of good texture in whiskey. Now, when I first popped this, I wasn't totally convinced of its value, but I am good with it now. It is on the slightly pricier side for what you're getting, but for me, it's justified. If it's high for some of you, I totally get it. So I'll just say this, if you're interested in the tasting notes I gave and you like the description and that sounds like something you're going to enjoy, I do think it's something that won't disappoint you. It's worth trying once. Okay, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, hit subscribe down below, click that little bell icon, and of course, smash the like. Now, I do want to hear from you. Have you tried Kilchoman Loch Gorm 2020? Have you tried any of the other years? What were your thoughts? And finally, down in the comments, let me know what you want to see me review next, and I'll keep it in mind for my upcoming videos. Bye, guys.